2021. We made it. It is the middle of the first full week of the year, and I don't know how you're feeling or you're approaching this, but and I said this if you watched our talk last Sunday, that just this transition from 2020 to 2021 is maybe a little anticlimactic. Looking forward to this, to kind of turning the page and putting a close to 2020, but realizing so much that has been challenging continues on. And so this is the first year, I don't know about for you, but it's the first year for me, I know, starting a new year in the midst of a pandemic. And while things do seem to be getting better, I've shared, throughout this last year what it's like for Abby and I. She's a nurse, and she just went through getting the vaccine and all of that. And so there's hope on the horizon. There's changes coming. We're hearing things about schools opening up and all of that. But it seems like we still have a ways to go. I read a psalm this morning. I've shared in the last number of months just finding this just really helpful kind of prayer app that I've been doing in the morning, and a few minutes of just reading and reflecting, talking to Jesus, listening to him. But the verse that really has stuck with me today from this morning is Psalm 72, verse 8. And it just says simply this: "May he rule from sea to sea, from the river to the ends of the earth." And then it goes on, but those two lines stuck with me, and this invitation, this call, this need, this request to say, God, you rule everywhere. And it was just kind of this really clear and simple reminder, and for me to be able to pray that this morning of, God, you rule everywhere. And in the midst of everything that's going on, would you rule in me as well? And one of the things that we're walking into as a church, that God is leading us into, I believe, is acknowledging the complexity and the challenge of this time, this moment, this year that we're in, this season, and the need to find a simple way of walking with Jesus. And so on Sunday, we're going to start this series that we're calling Simple. And it is not in any way a denial of the complexity of our world. It's an acknowledgement of the complexity of our world. But it's a looking at Jesus and finding the simple steps that help us to connect with him and walk with him. Because God rules, and we want to be connected to God through the person and work of Jesus. And so that's where we're headed this year. I hope that you lean in and join us, and that God meets you in that. I do want to mention a couple other things. And one is something new, and one is something really good, but old. So the new one's this. Just thanks again for filling out the survey. If you were, we had just a ton of people fill out the survey that we did a couple weeks ago as we consider what it looks like as a church to gather again in person, to sing and to worship and to look to Scripture together and to actually be with one another. And so input was so helpful. Thank you so much. We're just in this process of discerning. We're going to take the next 2 weeks and make a decision on how we move forward, meeting together. And so it's coming, it's happening. We're trying to figure out the best way to do that. And many of us have been engaged and connected in community through our virtual house gatherings on Sundays. And so we want to find a way both to continue those and to begin to open and gather together as well. So that's coming in the next couple of weeks. Here's the old thing. And this one has both a really a positive and the acknowledgement of a, let's just say, challenge. And here's a really old thing. Money, finances. I'm just going to say it right now. We're, a few days into the new year, and for many of us, we've started to look at budgeting and that kind of thing. And for others of us, we're in denial because we don't want to. We know we got credit card debt and the challenge of where's unemployment at, what's our job status like. We're all over the range. Here's a really good thing. We as a church just responded in significant generosity, sacrifice in our giving in the month of December. So as we ended 2020 and our year-end giving, we way exceeded what we had projected. So we put it in print. It's available for all of us all the time as a church, but our projection was 150. And I just get to celebrate with you that as we finished up all the counting yesterday, the team that does that, we as a church gave $169,000 in the month of December. That's our largest giving month for a long, long time. And so, one, I just want to celebrate with you. I want to say thank you. And just celebrate that God is continuing to provide for us as a church in this really unique season. Can we talk about the other side of that coin? For all of us personally, as we look to finances, there are challenges when it comes to our money in the beginning of every new year. And so maybe you're doing fine and that's great. But for many of us, we look at our budget anew and we find out the debt that we might have that we haven't been dealing with or acknowledging. And we've known that as we've headed into 2021. And so we've got a class that's coming up that's just a great opportunity to take an honest and spiritual biblical look at stewarding our money, our finances. And so we've got a friend of Mosaic who's actually teaches finance at a community college, and he's going to be guiding an equipping class, a Zoom class on Tuesday nights starting next week. And I want you to sign up for it. If you think you're doing great with money, great. If you're struggling with money, it's for everybody. But the topics that we're going to hit every week in this class are really, really helpful. From everything from just starting with dealing with debt to forming a budget to even long-term things like investment, retirement, estate planning, it's going to be a great opportunity. And so that's the Tuesday equipping class on finances. There's two other ones, one on processing grief that a counselor within Mosaic, Nicole Haggerty, is leading, and then one on marriage. And I've said this before, the marriage one, Pastor Mark LaRoe is leading that one. I've said this before, but between those three classes, all of us can find something in one of those three classes. And so pick your class, sign up, and join the Zoom classes on Tuesday night that are starting this next week. Hey, looking forward to being with you all on Sunday. Thanks for checking in the middle of the week here. I love you. I miss you. Talk to you soon.